He'll lynch you, but he did, and he laughs at me.
Mate, I'm letting you are a different cat. You're a different cat.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the West Ham Network. Am I here? Am I in? I am in. Oh, sorry. I need to take the image out. Good afternoon, or morning, I should say, and welcome back to the West Ham Network for your fixtures announcement. Today's the big day where we're getting told about the fixtures for the up-and-coming season for the 22-23 season. And just like transfer speculation, you see a lot of news breaking out. However, we are led to believe that our first game of the season, taking place on the 7th of August, will be against this lot here, Manchester City at home. That is what we are led to believe. Manchester City at home is West Ham United's first game of the season. Now, there is 13 more minutes to go until it becomes fully official, but that is what we are led to believe, that the first game of the season, will be at home against the reigning champions, Manchester City. What do you think? Get your comments in the comment section below. Now, from what we've been told, let me reiterate this. From what we've been told, I have got the rendition of the fixtures that we're led to believe are the fixtures for the up-and-coming season. Now, if it changes as soon as this comes out, I will obviously let you know, but I am going to give you what I know, what I've been told, because it's only fair to tell you what I have been told as well. So next up for West Ham, after being at home to Manchester City, is a trip away back to Nottingham Forest, who returned to the Premier League after such a big stay away so many years as well. Happy Amaret's in the house. You're saying, oh my God, this is not a great start. But happy, the bigger they come, the harder they fall. It's the first day of the season. You know, if West Ham can keep that mentality, if we can strengthen, you know, and have a good pre-season, get ourselves ready for the new season, start off where we left off, you know, well, not where we left off, because if we start where we left off against Brighton, it's not good. But we can, on our day, turn up against the big team. So, yeah, let me jump back. I'll put this picture back up so you can actually see. Again, like I said, there are 11 minutes to go till the fixtures are announced as well. So we'll go through them when they come through. Marcus Lee, good morning all. Good to see you, Marcus. Thank you for joining us. City, Brighton, Spuds and Chelsea in the first 6 fixtures. Ouch, Anton, are you still feeling confident? I'm always feeling confident and happy. Always feeling confident. So we've got Forest away, then followed by Brighton at home for the third game. This is, like I said, the information that's been given to us, but we'll have to wait and see if there are any changes as well. Then Aston Villa, a trip to Birmingham to play Aston Villa in the Midlands, away on the fourth day of the fixture list. Then the big London derby at home against Tottenham. But then it doesn't stop there. Another London derby, that is Chelsea away. That's the first 6 fixtures from what we have been told. On top of that, I've brought to you some of the other important fixtures that everyone looks forward. So that's West Ham have got Arsenal away on Boxing Day. That's the plan as it stands, unless anything does change. Oh, Russie B's in the house.
Yay.
He's back. He's back. So, Russ.
Yes.
I'm just quickly running through some of the other important ones, and we'll go back in a second. So I've got Arsenal Boxing Day away from home. We've got the last day of the season is away from the London Stadium at Leicester City, who also play a vital role for West Ham because we play them at home for the last game before the World Cup breakup as well, where there will be a 5 to 6 week winter break for the World Cup to take place as well. So there's some of the key fixtures. Like I said, once it's official, we will go through it and confirm what we have been told. But Russ, based upon that, Man City at home, how are you feeling?
Yeah, and it's going to be a 4:30 kickoff on the Sunday, looks like, isn't it? I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a nice sort of circle in it because we finished our home games this season to Man City. Now we're just kicking them off against Man City. There's no good time to play them. We have an exclusive. The fact is, we play everyone twice throughout the season, and so we've got to play them sometime. Personally, I would have preferred to play them after the World Cup because we'd hope that many of them would get a bit of a knock during the World Cup. But in the same way, those first couple of weeks are funny, because some teams are at a level already, some teams aren't at a level. So it's a good time to play them. Best time as any, really, to be honest. And also, don't forget, after that, then obviously we'll get a bit funny because we'll have to play on the 15th. Would be our first leg of the conference playoff, and then the 20th, and then the week after as well. So, it's going to be all moved about as always. Lots of Sundays, not many Saturdays, which annoys a lot of people. But the fact is, we're in Europe, so that's what happens. But yeah, it's not. It's not an easy thing at all. It doesn't look that easy at all. But you got to play him. And I think the good news is I only missed one game over Christmas because I'm going to Florida for the whole of Christmas, and I only missed the one game, which is the Brentford game potentially on the 31st. But at the moment, it could all change come 9 o'clock.
It could all change, of course. Well, what's interesting is when you look through the list that we've got here, there's 6 Premier League games scheduled for October, and that's not including the conference as well. As it stands, we've got Wolves at home on the 1st of October. We've got Fulham at home on the 8th of October, Southampton away on the 15th, Liverpool away on the 19th, Bournemouth at home on the 22nd, and Manchester United away on the 29th. So up north, back down south, right back up north again. It's win it.
Plus all the other stuff, plus flying to God knows Liechtenstein or something like that as well.
Yeah.
It's for us, it's not necessarily a victim of our success. Really, the fact is we have to put all that on top as well. But the running we've seen doesn't look too bad. Towards the end of the season, with the likes of probably in the last sort of last dozen games, Arsenal and United are probably in those last dozen, and it's all the likes of Brentford and Fulham and people like that. So our last game at the moment, as we believed at home, would be Leeds at home, which is not a bad last game, I think. So
no, of course. Well, listen, if it is Man City at home, which we are led to believe it is, it's going to be Haaland's first fixture in the Premier League. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, how do you feel about possibly one of the greatest new strikers ever to play football? Eventually, well, in it, but we'll have a Guard by then, so it'll be all right.
Yeah, absolutely.
In his pocket. It'll be.
In his pocket. You sure you're not going to mean Dawson in his big pocket, like Happy's saying here?
Oh,
what are the chances, though, we bring him in and then bang, Dawson starts the season again?
Quite possibly. He'll have to establish himself into the first team first.
Yeah.
No, but I think it's a City and it's City. But they could have Calvin Phillips by then. Who knows?
Yeah, or we could.
More likely they could.
I've got some key dates for everyone as well. So the opening weekend is August the 6th for anyone that wants to know. The World Cup break starts on November the 13th. The Premier League resumes on Boxing Day, and the final day of the season is May the 28th. So the season does start a week earlier than normal as well. So next up, though, we face Nottingham Forest, 20 years plus away from the Premier League. So it'll be interesting to go back there, won't it? And
but it's great. For them, I know a lot of people were really rooting for Forest to get back up there because it is a good ground, it's a nice place, and it's hopefully still be decent weather as well. So that's going to be a nice one to get to. I think the City Ground. They'll have that. That might be their first home game in the Premier League. Thinking about it. It might not be, but it might be. And so that would be a huge occasion for them as well. So we'd love to go there and spoil the party, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. I'm just putting in, is there more? Can you do the chat for me, Russ, while I'm just
updating
some stuff?
Yeah, of course I can. So no easy, you're certainly right, Rob. No easy games in the Premier League, that's for sure. See what we got here. Be happy. We were going for Dennis. Don't worry, be happy, indeed. Budgie's in the house. Hey, Budgie, hope you're well, man. Rich is in the house as well. Good afternoon. Good morning, rather. Marcus, hope you're well, my friend. You've probably done these already, but it doesn't matter. But, I mean, that's the thing. When you look at the fixtures, it's always, it's exciting because it's like, it means the Premier League is around the corner. But, we know all these things could change with the European games and stuff like that. And
Yep.
But though the Premier League did put out a thing yesterday saying that because obviously we had a situation last year, didn't we, with lots of games being called off and stuff. They have to go through a real stringent test now to have any games called off. So that may be better. So the likes of Arsenal aren't going to cry it off because one person's got broken nail or whatever. It's not going to happen anymore now. So it is what it is, isn't it? As I said, and typical something like Nigel Coleman would say, well, we've got to play everyone twice. We do. But I think the order helps. The order helps, particularly, this year's going to be really weird. It's going to be a really weird season, getting up to sort of, mid-November and then nothing until Boxing Day.
Yep.
So it's going to be really stop-start.
It's funny, I'm actually looking through what we've been given, and I'm actually trying to find a spell of games where you would, on paper, look at and go, oh, that's an okay spell, or that's a tough spell. I would actually say from the fixture list I've looked through, it's the first time in such a long time that there's never a break really from your typical top six or teams that we struggle against. So, you come up against maybe the new boys Fulham, but before that you play Wolves and then Everton. And I know ideally they're not. Everton haven't been playing fantastically well over the past couple of seasons. However, they're no mean feat either to come against as well. They're a big club who are going to invest well, probably within reason, and it's just whether or not Frank Lampard can put things together for the club. But then you look at it, you've got Liverpool away, then you've got Bournemouth at home, then you've got Manchester United away, then you've got Crystal Palace and Leicester at home. Maybe there's a little spell there.
Maybe because you got. I mean, it's a spell. I think potentially just around the Christmas time, after Arsenal on Boxing Day. Apparently, is Brentford at home, Leeds away, Wolves away. But I mean, I think Richard makes Martin makes a good point about always playing good to play the greedy six at the start of the season, not in their full stride. I totally agree. And Richard makes another good point. To be fair, with our form, it's the games against Fulham and Forest you need to be more concerned about. We still have half a chance against the likes of City and Chelsea, and we probably do. And the fact is, being the first game of the season, all the optimism, hopefully. Not any negativity. Hopefully, we'll have a good transfer window, and so we'd see some new faces as well starting, as well as obviously City. We'll have some faces starting as well, so there could be a good time to play them. But you're right. There's not like a period where it's like. Like where you have sort of not the group of death, but the month of death. There isn't a month of death yet.
Yeah, it's all very spread evenly. On to our third game, though. Definitely our bogey team of the Premier League.
Yeah,
is Brighton. I mean, are we going to be able to get a victory over them in the Premier League this season?
Of course we're not. We never do. I think we just got to put that one down to a draw. Yeah, absolutely. And then followed by the fourth game, Aston Villa away. I mean, Aston Villa spending big, doing a West Ham under Pellegrini. What do you think? Do you know what? I'm happy with that one because Flo wants to go to Villa away.
Right.
And it's in August as well, so I'll be able to probably get away with that as well. So, I mean, Villa are spending big, aren't they? So, again, that's 3 or 4 games into the season. Will their new signings be all gelled in? Who knows? So, I mean, it's one of those things where we don't necessarily know until it gets that time.
Yep, absolutely. So that is the fourth game. Yep, moving on to the fifth game. First London derby. Oh, here we go. Fixtures are just in officially, as we know, and as we have reported, it is all correct.
Good. So there we go.
There you go.
After all that, it's all correct. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So home against Spurs. First London derby. Conte has been busy in the transfer market. Russ?
Has been very busy. Again, we love it. We love a home derby. Again, early on, playing these teams early on, particularly if they're spending well or they're spending a bit, it does help us, I think. But I mean, it's one of those games where it's a free hit, isn't it? Really, you've got teams where everything's going to happen, and I think we're going to sit there and just the crowd will be behind it. It's Spurs. and sometimes those new signings might not know how necessarily to work in that sort of environment.
Yeah.
So, particularly for the foreign-based players, I'm clutching a little bit, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'm not jealous at all. The fact that they're buying lots of people at the moment and we're not. I'm just going to download that and put it up so you
All
we
right,
can
cool.
show everyone.
I was doing the same, so it's
Oh,
good
there
to
we
know
go.
that you're
Great
doing
minds.
it.
Great minds.
Sixth game is another London derby. Chelsea away from home. They have had obviously a lot of problems over the summer. However, things look likely to be getting resolved for them, and they will have a pocket of money that they're going to invest in players. And as you can see, the first 6 games are it's a tough group. It's a tough group, but as the comments have been saying, never underestimate West Ham against teams that predominantly you always predict that we're never going to do well in. You should never really underestimate us at that point.
Yeah, very true. We know when those teams who, particularly last season, the bigger sides we were playing better against.
Yeah.
So there it is. Oh, it's really hard to see. Bloody hell! What are the West Ham guys doing this? It looks awful. But that's confirmed basically. So I might just try and make it a little bit bigger so they can actually see it. Jesus Christ, that's awful. Right, let me share my screen a bit.
So while you're doing that, I will just kind of do a run through for anyone that's just joining us. So we're going to open our 22-23 Premier League season at home to Manchester City. We're going to welcome Pep Guardiola, who are the defending champions, to the London Stadium, which will be televised on Sky Sports on Sunday, the 7th of August. The kickoff will be 4:30 p.m. as we have said. August continues with a trip, like we said, to newly promoted Nottingham Forest, back in the top flight after 23 years in the Football League on Saturday, the 13th of August, with then home games against Brighton, as we know, on Saturday, the 20th of August, and Spurs on Tuesday, the 30th of August as well, and an away match, Aston Villa, on the 27th of August, rounding off a busy opening month. But we do know things will change. We are led, we know things will change because we're obviously in the Europa League conference, and if we keep qualifying through to round after round after round, etc. And as we said earlier on as well, the last game of the season is going to be on the road to Leicester City on Sunday, the 28th of May, while our final home game of the season will be against Leeds United on Saturday, the 20th of May. The Boxing Day fixture, as we have said, is going to be against Arsenal, travelling through to our North London, I was going to say friends, but enemies, you could say.
Yeah.
And then after that, we're featuring a home derby against Brentford on New Year's Eve, and an away game at Leeds on Monday, the 2nd of January. It's going to pause. The season will pause for 6 weeks in November and December for the 22 World Cup in Qatar. So the fixture that we will be playing before the season ends is against Leicester at home before that break kicks in. So we do know that those our home fixture against Brighton and a game against Aston Villa are subject to movement on those weekends due to the participation in the Europa League Conference. And that's the playoff rounds, and that's the previous Thursday. So they're subject to be moving, as is our away game at Manchester United in October due to their participation in the Europa League stages as well.
Yeah, so you can see, you can see there's the first, I'll move it up so you can see May in a minute.
I'll move it away if I take this.
As you said, August, no, because I've got to move it up because it's got,
right.
I'm doing it on, look, making it all look very pretty. So you can see May, we finish at Leicester, as Anton says, on the 28th, and then obviously we've got our last home game will be on the 20th. Oh, that's lucky, isn't it? Fla's birthday. Oh, shit, that's Joe's birthday. Oh, sorry, Joe.
You're so happy.
Sorry, Joe. Anyway, more importantly, when's your birthday? When are you playing?
I'm October the 9th, but I'm always at international break.
Oh no, you're not.
But not this year. Not this year.
Yeah, you got Fulham.
Do you know that's the first time in my lifetime that West Ham will be playing on my birthday?
I've got mine's the 25th. So we usually play someone, but obviously that's the international break. The 17th would be that week. Those in September. So it looks like it's 2 weeks or at least a week and a half in September after the 17th. There's not a game on. So
Can we just focus on August for a second? So on the 20th, on the 27th of August, we play Brighton and Aston Villa, but that is when our 2 games will take place for the Conference League. So they will probably be moved to the Sunday.
Yeah.
Would that be correct?
Yes.
which means we have got 5 plus 2 games, which will be 7 games in August to kickstart our Premier League season. Which means, does that mean then the Tottenham game would move because we're playing Sunday, Tuesday? Or would they keep that?
No. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, that would have to change. That would
God,
have
there's
to
a
change.
lot. Honestly, Russ, I mean,
There's
we're
a-
going to need strength and depth, mate.
Gonna
I
need some
mean,
numbers.
we're 4 down already, let alone any of the youth bloody leaving. And hopefully this ball can start rolling today if we get someone over the line today.
Maybe. Yeah. Yes. Lucky enough, we're not in the Carabao Cup until the third round either. Regardless of whether we get if we do get knocked out of the Europa Conference at the starting the qualifying stage, the playoff stage, we've already get a bye to the third round because we qualified for Europe already.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, don't forget also. Yeah, I mean, we've got 5 subs this season as well.
Yeah. Honestly.
Oh Christ! There we go.
So if we advance through to the group
Yeah.
stages of the Conference League, I'm just actually quickly marking it down just now if I can. Oh my God. No, I'm actually having to go back to October. That is ridiculous. Fulham, Crystal Palace. Where's Crystal Palace? Honestly, I mean, we've got 6 games in October as it stands. It means that we would have a 7th game in October added and another game in November added as well.
What in between the Palace and Leicester game? Because obviously then
Yeah.
it shuts down. Doesn't
Then it
after
shuts
Leicester?
down. Yeah. It would be the Palace game that would be moved because it would be the Thursday before. So we'd literally be playing because what's interesting is the Manchester United game in October that moves because they're in the Europa League, so that will move, and then the Crystal Palace game the following week will move because we'll have a game midweek as well.
Oh yeah,
So-
most of these which say Saturday are going to
Yeah.
be saying Sunday
Yeah.
in about hopefully in about a month or 2 time. But yeah, it's
7 games we'll have in October.
Yeah.
We'll have 2, 4, 5, 7 games in August, 4 games potentially in September. So that's the way to look at it. Even though we've got the fixtures here, this is the Premier League. That's not including the FA Cup or the League Cup.
no. So we won't go into the third round of the League Cup won't be until probably maybe even after the World Cup. I think.
Yeah.
I think so. Carabao Cup 2022-23. I think it won't be till probably next. Let
budgie.
me bring that up. But yeah, no, there's a lot, and it looks like April might be a big week. Right, third round is going to be. It says on Wikipedia, so it must be true. That it's week commencing the 9th of November. It's the third round, and we'll be in the third round.
Right. Okay.
So it will be that week of the Leicester game. I don't know how it's going to work.
Yeah.
Bloody World Cup in the middle of everything, ruining
I know.
already all our fun.
know.
But yeah, so let's say November. Although it looks like there's only 2 games. To be honest, there should be another 2 games on top of that as well, because there'll be the Europa Conference hopefully game we'd play in there, at least one, and then you'd have the Carabao Cup as well. God dear.
I'm actually bringing up the opening weekend fixtures for all clubs.
Yeah,
So
it's good to say also that Forest it will be their first home game when we play them, because they're away to Newcastle first game of the season, I think. So yeah,
they are.
yes, so that'd be good.
I'm just getting them all up now. If you all bear with me.
If you're new, Andy, give it a like, a comment, give me a share, give us a subscribe. There we go. We may be back later on today. We could be back for later on. We're not planning to necessarily do a show later on today. This is like the daily show today. But if reports are meant to be believed, we may be coming back to announce something, but we'll see. But we don't know. It went up with all the Newcastle things yesterday with Aguerd. It went a bit pear-shaped, didn't it? So, but apparently everything seems to be back on. So we could be back
I
on.
wonder if it was ever off.
Why though?
What?
Why would it not? Why would that's the thing? It's like for me, I think it's purely a power play by Newcastle to get Botman over the line.
To be honest, I don't even know if it did happen. to be honest, I'm not. Again, like I said, I'm very skeptical of what stuff comes from. It doesn't even matter really where it comes from, because I mean, it was only reported in several places, but not everywhere. It wasn't one of those ones that went viral, really, to be honest, was it?
No, it went viral amongst a small group of people. Didn't
Yeah,
it really?
yeah.
In terms of certain places, it went viral.
Yeah, and I'm not digging out people, so please don't say that. I'm not digging out. It's not about that. I'm always skeptical. I am one of those people in the chat that turn around and go, "Oh, transfer nonsense. I'll only believe it when I see the player holding up the shirt." I'm like that as well, but we do run a YouTube channel, so I'm going to always, you know, oh, that's my dad. Oh, I've just changed his profile picture. I couldn't understand the picture. I was like, what's going on there?
So you should say, "Good morning, Anton, my son, and Russ, my adopted son." That's what you should say. But anyway, don't matter. But yeah, no, I know what you mean. It was a bit, but then you could see. I think, personally, in my own personal opinion, I think someone mistook Aguerd for Areola. That's what I think, and I think it's gone a bit like the other way to maybe not get to that dig that person out. That's how I see it, but we don't know. We don't know, do we? We don't know. So,
but do you know what's interesting, Russ, is something that we need to be mindful of West Ham fans is that there is a new mentality and there is a new system at West Ham. Have adopted you, Russ. There is a new system at West Ham, which means that things don't get broken out so much. That's why I know there's always been rumors, but my favorite word this summer so far has been it's relentless, and it really is relentless. And what we have come to learn is that we don't really know what's going on.
No, we don't.
And you just never know. Like, I would love it today if West Ham had signed Aguerd, Areola, and Lingard and thrown everyone under the, smoke and mirrors everywhere. And I'm just trying to use it as an example of how we, when Areola was announced, nobody predicted it. When Sofal was announced, nobody predicted it. So it is just the way it is, isn't it? So
yeah, it is the way it is, and I think it is just the nature of information. I mean, for example, don't forget, like 2 weeks ago, the fixtures were leaked apparently, and it went up on loads of people's, Facebooks and Twitters. We're going to be at home to Everton, and and people are putting all these things up, and it's like, well, that's not the case. Clearly, it's not the case. In the same way that apparently Aguerd had already been here and had the pictures done and then flown off to play in Morocco.
Yeah,
that wasn't the case as well. So it's like you have to sort of wade through, and that's why we always say we don't claim to be ITKs or anything like that, but we just report what's being said, isn't it? Really, and we give you our opinions. We say whether we think it's newsworthy. I give little rumor ratings, give my opinion. This one could happen, this one probably wouldn't happen, and that's what we try and do. And I think most people are sane enough to understand those types of things, aren't they? Really, I think we never say anything's gospel. We never say, until that social, as I said to I think it was to Nigel or to Dan or someone, until that social media video is posted by the club, no one's signed.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean they haven't been signed. Because as I said, the Areola thing, don't forget, I remember we spoke the other day about Haller and how they just tagged it onto the end of their shirt being launched, and you didn't even watch the end of the video. So you didn't know he signed. Yeah. So, there's all these types of things which can happen. So
that's right, because it was like 5 seconds. I know we've said this, but it was like 5 seconds at the end or whatever, and I'd already tapped out. But because my phone went mental, I had to log back in straight away and I just watched the end. And like we've always said, it's like when you go to a movie, never leave until you see the full thing. As you can see, though, I've got the first fixtures of the season for the Premier League rolling along the bottom there. So Spurs have Southampton at home, Everton have Chelsea at home, Man United have Brighton at home. Of course, we have Manchester City, Arsenal travel to Crystal Palace for their opening fixture. Fulham have a tough one at home against Liverpool, but it'll be nice to see if Fulham can start the season off well. It's always got that potential, doesn't it, when a new club comes up, that they're going to show like what they're capable of doing, or they're going to get absolutely torn to shreds on the first day of the season.
I mean, you look at it. We obviously got Forest, and I think that to be honest, the first 2 or 3 games, the game weeks, you get some funny results. You do get some funny results, and to play no disrespect to Forest, but say, for example, the team that probably going to win the league and the team that probably most likely to be relegated. We're playing off. We're literally playing both sides of the scale, really, in all honesty. And so anything can happen in those two games. I think Forest, they're going to be, their fans are going to be absolutely buzzing to be back. Fulham, Bournemouth, they're used to it. They're absolutely used to it. So, but not so much, someone like Forest. So a lot of their fans have never seen them play in the Premier League. So
I just wanted to quickly jump on this one. Is this you? Is it Billy? Let me know if it's you, Billy. Please, if you are watching. So really buzzing. It's going to be the first season I'm going since COVID problems. Hope fixtures won't be changed so much. I don't want to pay extra fee to change flights. So if it is who I think it is, I sat with Billy in the East Stand of Upton Park for 2 seasons, saw him several times, and I never really went over to speak to him, but really wish I did. Yes, there you go. Good man. He always had the flag sitting at the corner. I'm trying to think where you would have been sitting. You would have been in the DJ box, so that was in between Bobby Moore and West Stand.
And the whatever it is called that week.
So the diagonal,
Dr. Marty's.
Yeah, that's right.
Whatever.
The diagonally across the pitch, exactly in the other corner, right beside the away fans, is where me and Billy used to sit or stand.
So like just above sort of the proper chicken run.
Well,
like
yeah,
the,
literally.
you know what I mean? Like the corner, the exact corner was the tough corner. Where that was the way all the old boys were.
That's where I was with Billy.
Right. That's where roughly I sat for my first ever game.
Yeah,
was there. And then then we moved to the family section in the Centenary Upper, bang in the middle, front row, seats.
Yeah, really good seats, really good. And I'll never forget it. Like watching, it was such a Billy. The last game ever at Upton Park against Manchester United, and it was so sad. And we were all up there together, and it was like such a family atmosphere. And there was people that I've sat beside for years, and I hadn't really spoke too much. I spoke to some people, but not all the people. Everyone was cuddling each other and crying and stuff like that. It was such a surreal situation, really, to be in. But
it was. It certainly was, man. It certainly was.
Happy as saying Liverpool have just bid 60 million quid for Rafinha.
How can they afford that? Not being fun. I know Liverpool, they've just spent, I suppose they've only laid out, I think it's 67 or 64 initially for Nunez. But then again, if they buy Rafinha, it means not going to want Bowen. So I don't care. You know what I mean? I don't think realistically we're ever going to get Rafinha because a team like Liverpool were going to come in, or Barcelona would have found 60 million, down the back of a sofa or something. But it means that, it's another player who, same with Man City, I want them to buy Calvin Phillips. Yeah. Because they're not going to buy Declan Rice then.
Yeah.
Well, they shouldn't buy Declan, because it's, so same as these. I know it's frustrating to see players go, but actually, you think, and I was talking to the KUMB boys yesterday, they had their 25th anniversary of their end of season awards, and they were Bowen. I presented an award, and Bowen was the winner. It's most improved player last season, and he was saying about Bowen leaving, and I said, well, you got to look who he'd go to, who realistically, and Liverpool would be one of the clubs you could see because they've always been sniffing around for him in the last season or so. If they go buy Rafinha, too right, cool, there you go, do one.
Yep, absolutely. I don't doubt for a second that the board had meetings with about signings, but what they're doing is having regular meetings, probably.
Yes, yeah. So that's basically from. So Sean said on more than just a podcast that, and it's been reported on Claret and Hugh and stuff like that that the board are having their first regular meeting from July. I think it's beginning of July, and the idea being is they have them regular, but it has to be. I know it is to set out the strategy for the next 12 months. So they've already got the strategy and up until July will set up, but it's the next 12 months. And he was saying, which is quite interesting, that because there's so many board members now, that any expenditure that's, I think there's a certain number they have to be ratified by the board, because there's 12 of them now. So where it used to be just the 3 of them, because of everything else and everyone else getting involved, and Danny's mate and all these types of things, there's a lot more people to okay any expenditure, basically.
I also want to run through something. I've got all the Premier League transfer ins so far for the summer of 2022.
Yeah.
Bournemouth have signed nobody, and they have let go of 8 players. Arsenal have signed 1 and let go of 5 players. Aston Villa have signed 4 and let go of 3. Brentford have signed nobody and let go of 1. Brighton have let go of 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 and signed nobody. Chelsea have let go of 5 and signed nobody. Crystal Palace have let go, ready for this one, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12
Massive
and
deal,
signed
yeah.
nobody. Everton have let go of 1 and signed nobody. Fulham have let go of 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15 players, of which one of those players was strongly linked to West Ham in the past, Alfie Mawson. And he's been released, and they've signed nobody. Leeds have brought in 2, but have released 2, 4, 6, 7. Leicester have signed nobody and released 6. Liverpool have signed 2 and released 7. Manchester City have released 1 and sold 1. Manchester United have bought nobody, but released 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. Newcastle have signed 2 and released 4. Nottingham Forest have signed nobody and released 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Southampton have signed 1 and released 2. Tottenham have signed 2 and released, my word, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. West Ham have signed nobody and released 4. And Wolves have signed nobody and released 2, 4, 6, 8, 8. So that's been done the whole thing. And from that whole Premier League, 20 teams, 16 signings have been made.
Yeah, exactly.
Of which 4 are Aston Villa.
That's what I mean. I think the trouble is because I think the fan base has gone a bit crazy because it is, those teams who are going to be around us this season. Villa are going to be around us this season. Yeah. Newcastle are going to be around us. I mean, Newcastle only bought Taggart. You've all the money in the world and everyone they're trying to buy and all these, they're the big richest club in the world. They've only spent 15 million quid on Taggart and the left back who they had on loan already this season. So, people talk about Areola signing. That's not going to improve our score. Newcastle doing exactly the same thing, and we're worrying about them as well. So, you're right. It's I think the factor is because it's teams like Villa and they're signing players we've been linked with. They're signing some players that we would have probably been in the same pot for, in the likes of Boubacar Kamara and people like that, until obviously the wages has come into play. And then when you look at the wages, clearly, why they've moved to Villa, not to someone else. I mean, that Boubacar Kamara has turned down Atletico Madrid for Aston Villa because they're paying him 180 grand a week. So it's a bit, and we've had. I was listening to. I think it was someone the other day, and they were talking about the fact that when someone like Thomas Souček asks for more money, and they're like greedy bastard. Well, that's what he could potentially be on is half of what Boubacar Kamara is going to be on. Yeah. So it's it's I won't press the panic button just yet.
But I did ask you that question. When is your panic button?
So my panic button would be, I think the players will be back in 2 weeks' time. I think they come back on the 20-something of June. So my panic button is, I think there's a type. I mean, for me, if we haven't got that left-sided centre back in by July, then I'll be a little bit worried, because actually for me that's a key position for us this season, and it's a position that I think not only for the player we bring in but also for Zuma as well, because I think Zuma he does a job playing that left-sided one, but that's not his job. He's a right-sided centre back, and we need that left side. And I think we need to. The first thing we need to do is stop conceding goals. Yeah. When we first signed, when Moyes first came in properly, we were really, really ruthless in that. We were winning games, but we weren't conceding them. We might have scored 2, maybe scored 4 like we did against Wolves, or 3 against Leicester, but we weren't conceding, and that's what I think we have to go back to basics with. So for me, it's about getting that centre back in. That's what I want, that centre back in, and then the rest is peripherals. It is about improving the squad. So it is about. I picked with the chat. Januzaj. I think Januzaj would be a good squad player. I think to get him in, I think it would be a bad one. It's probably not my first choice, but actually,
but that's what it comes down to, though. And I'm not trying to say that Januzaj is who, same as you. It's not who I would choose on paper, but does he fit the mold? I'm going to sneeze.
I think he does fit the mold. and we know Moyes, Moyes likes to play with. He likes players he knows. He does. Yeah. He did this, Lingard. He's a fascination with Lingard. I think Januzaj could be his new Lingard.
But
in all
but,
honesty.
but Russ, when West Ham signed Lingard, the majority of the fan base were not buzzing.
No, we weren't. No, I wasn't. I was thinking, no, not at all.
Not many. Now, I'm only saying I was buzzing, right? I'm only saying it because I had made a comment 6 months previous to the chat, the WhatsApp chat that we're in, about why don't we try for a player of like Lingard? Because if he once upon a time was a good player, then he can't be a crap player forever. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that not many people were buzzing about Lingard. Not many people were buzzing about maybe Souček and Sofao because we didn't really know them. So you know what? If Moyes finds a player into it, did I? I think I did actually. Two.
So cool.
Go. Sorry. So
I know what you mean. I know what you mean, and I think that conversation we were having at the same time was around the same conversation as likes of Dele Alli and those types of and Lingard was in that group. You know, he's that sort of, and so I mean, to be honest, he. I've just seen Arsenal's away kit. Oh, it looks beautiful. It looks beautiful. Sorry, it's a black. It's with gold, and I think it looks lovely. I'd love to. Oh, if that was West Ham's kit.
Well, you'd love to support Arsenal. What are you going to say?
I'd love if that West Ham had a kit like that. It's beautiful. But yeah, no, I think for me, I think I mean, as I said, that's why when you see some of the people being linked with, and people are a little bit, it's not really next level. But as you said, the players who have taken us to the next level are the likes of Bowen, are the likes of Souček. I mean, something we're going to hopefully do probably tomorrow now in terms of sort of the 5 players from the Championship I think West Ham should buy, and I've just gone through and actually, funny enough, I've just read a report today that one of my 5 apparently we're going to put in a significant bid for. So, well, apparently so. So, you know, I know what I'm talking about. No, I don't know. Yeah. But it's funny how it's just happened. So, you know, I think for us that's what we do. You know, we're not a team that goes out and buys Darwin Núñez. We never were going to be a team that went out and bought Darwin Núñez. We're not set up that way. You know, we've tried that sort of, not Galactico approach, but, you know, the Haller and Anderson approach. It doesn't work for us. Yeah. So it is about, you know, and some people might be underwhelmed a little bit by him because you might see the likes of, I don't know. I was just going to say, there's tough is in the house. I was just better say, you know, Josh Brownhill, for example, but he'd be a really good signing for us, I think, in terms of our squad. And so, I think it's, as I said, I'm not pressing any panic buttons until early July. Yeah.
I kind of agree here. Mark Alexander saying 4 threes, 3 big, and promote 3 youth. And then there is the loan market. And I can see us doing that. I mean, if I think about if we get Aguerd and Areola over the door nice and early, Areola doesn't really count, even though he does count because he's been there, done that, wore the T-shirt. So even though he's classified as new, for me, he's not new. So he's not like, you're not signing 7 players, 8 players, and everyone needs to get to know the squad. Because if you bring in, let's just say you do bring in Areola, and let's just say you do bring in Jesse Lingard, even though the rumours are saying that he may not. Honestly, Russ, if you typed in Jesse Lingard and West Ham in the internet right now, in the space of 24 hours, there's conflicting stories about him.
Of course there is, yeah. I mean, look at today. Look at today and say 5 o'clock yesterday.
Yeah.
And Aguerd, you know, you've got, it was like, he's Newcastle, and then there's a meltdown about Newcastle, and then one person says something, and everyone goes, "Oh, it's okay. He's having his medical today."
Yep.
So it's like you don't. I said we don't. You never know until that social media. It used to be until they hold the scarf, but we don't do it anymore. Until they hold the social media post, or until someone leaks a picture of them walking out of you know, Rush Green. But even then, I mean, we've seen. I remember watching the Leeds documentary on Amazon Prime, and Dan James had literally signed. I hadn't signed. He had the T-shirt, he had the shirt, he had the picture, and then Man United pulled in straight, you know, right towards the end of the thing and took him off them. And so until that announcement, you can't really say anything, to be honest.
No, absolutely not. I heard James Ward-Prowse's name mentioned again today. Can't see it happening. You know what? I don't doubt that we're interested in him, but it'll be the English international premium that he's got on his on his fee. Southampton, he's the captain of Southampton. They are not, and they've got very good history of selling players for good money. very good history. They make good money on their players, so they're not going to want to sell him for less than 60, I would have thought.
No, and someone made a good point. I think we were talking about it before that Southampton tend to do it every couple of years, sell a big player, just to not balance the books, but just to get some money in. And so they haven't sold anyone big for a couple of years. So it could be, but yeah, I mean,
I'll be intrigued to see their transfer, their books though, because they probably run the club. Like I would assume by what they do means that they run the club properly like a business. However, they're happy to solidify their position in the league.
Yeah,
they just want to be Premier League football, and if they can overachieve sometimes, then cool. As long as they've never underachieve.
I mean, there was the guy we've had him before talking vlogs, haven't we? We've had him on the channel before from Southampton, and basically, I think when I spoke to him, they'd given up the season about halfway through the season. They were like 11th. He goes, "We're done now." That's literally, it seems, what we've done. We talk about ambition and stuff. Someone like Southampton will necessarily say they're ambitious as well. I mean, they've got, why haven't they put a bid in for Brozier, for example? There's it seems as for someone like Southampton, they're happy to sort of maintain that sort of 12th to 14th status, maybe crop into the top 10. I mean, you look at the teams around, as I said, Crystal Palace got a massive rebuilding job this summer, loads of players out, so there'll be some trepidation as well. I mean, we said it before, when you look at our team, we did the keep, loan, sell stuff. The majority of people we're keeping. Yeah. Voted for by you guys, we were keeping a lot of them. So there's not that many places up for grabs, really, apart from in terms of the first starting 11 spot. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's. But as I said, there's going to be teams like the likes of. I mean, next year you've got the likes of Villa. They're going to be up and around. I think Newcastle will be. But then they haven't spent yet.
Yeah.
So we don't know. We know they've got the money. So if they got someone like Sven Botman, centre back, I mean, he's someone I'd want if we didn't get a Guerd. He would be my number 2 choice, that's for sure. But that's it, really. They haven't really sort of. They've still got Joel Linton and they've still got these players and stuff like that. So
this is what I expect, Russ. Aguerd, Areola, Lingard, Conor Gallagher, Brozier, Dennis and Sarr. Bosh, done.
That's it. Yeah. 7 players. I think Aguerd and Areola, I think they're nailed on. And then I think there's going to be... then I don't know. Because there's so many people we're linked to. There's so many people I can see happening. I still think we might get Bolosi on a free. Although apparently he's delayed his decision with Torino. I think he's waiting for AC Milan to come in because that's his dream club. But if they don't, then he's either got to stay with Torino or he's got to move to someone. And West Ham apparently is the only concrete offer he's been given at the moment. And he's just, but fair, and I know people go, oh, he doesn't want to come to us. Well, it's his last chance. The same as Lingard. It's Lingard's last chance of a move. So he wants to do the one that's going to suit him. He's going to tick all the boxes. He's not going to go for a half-assed move. It's his last move. So, that's what I thought.
Yeah. Oh, well, there you go. So there's our fixtures. So for anyone that is just joining us, we'll do a quick run through for... Are you doing it?
Yeah. Share my screen. There we go. Okie dokie. There we go. That's there's your rumours. Not rumours. There's your fixtures.
Manchester City at home, first game of the season, moves to Sunday, and we have discussed beforehand that there's going to be games subject to many changes due to the conference. So in particular, first games to look at are Brighton and Aston Villa on the 20th and 27th of August, because we will be playing our playoff for the Conference League. So we'll add 2 more games into that, and we've got 7 games in August. And then if we progress through, there'll be a whole host of games moved for the conference group stages, but also we do play other teams that are in European competitions, particularly Europa League. So Manchester United game will move on Saturday the 29th of October because they'll be in the group stages of the Europa League as well. But fixtures to be mindful of: December the 26th, Boxing Day, first game back after the World Cup is Arsenal away. The last game before the World Cup break is Leicester away Leicester at home on Saturday the 12th of November. And the last game of the season is Leicester away, the 28th of May.
Do you think that might be the case? Why? Just looking at obviously our August quickly, do you think that might be a case why we haven't had? I know Moyes is keen to not move the team around too much pre-season. And the fact that we've got 7 games in August, it doesn't seem like we've got a massive pre-season. Like an intensive pre-season. We're not going away. We're not doing it at any, tournament.
Well, they are. They're going away to. I know they're coming to St Andrews and then they're going to France.
Evian, yeah.
Yeah, but if you think about the last 2 seasons, Russ, he's taken the team to St Andrews and they've built up this. It's just like a little local trip. But it's lovely. It is really lovely there. It's not like, even if you don't get good weather, it's lovely. So you do, you do feel like you're on holiday, and it's not cheap either. It's really not cheap either. But you do really feel like you're on holiday. It's very international. Loads of people go there for the golf, and it's such a nice surrounding. And they go for their night walks and whatever. And it's worked. It's worked for them over the last 2 seasons. Plus, they've not had too much traveling, considering they're about to embark in quite a lot of travelling as well.
Also, I think, well, there are reports that we might not have the Betway Cup at London Stadium this year, because of the stand and stuff needing to be built and stuff. It could well be maybe when we're in Evian, for example, which means we're playing one less game in our pre-season. We don't know yet, but So it's. Clearly, it must be mindful of the fact that we've got 7 games in August.
Oh well, at least we won't win it again then.
We won it last year.
No, I know, but I was just taking the mick out of the fact we created this competition and then couldn't win it.
No, yeah.
And gave ourselves the bye to the final.
We always
because there is only a final.
We always get to the final though.
Yeah,
we always get there. But anyway,
cool, excellent. That's us. So, like you said, I don't know if are you doing a daily today?
We might. I'm holding off doing one today because this is the daily anyway. This is the daily, but we might do something later on if we get some news. Yeah, I think that's
keep an eye on.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on the channel.
Yeah,
subscribe. Obviously, hit the bell notification that will notify you when our shows do go live as well. Then there's Hammers headlines at 5:00 because today is Thursday. Yeah, because I got my days mixed up. I thought today was Friday. And just keep your eye on. Have we got anything else coming up, Russ?
I don't think so. We're going to do that youth show soon, aren't we?
Yeah, actually, I wonder when. Maybe, I'll talk to you after and we'll see when we can do that.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
And also next Thursday, we're hopefully doing a thing for Iron supporting food banks. We're going to do hopefully an ex-player game show. So far we've got, I think Steve Jones is confirmed. Kevin Keane says he's up for it. And so we're going to do one of those. A good fun. We'll do Wheel of Fortune, and it's to raise money for the food banks because they need it, and also to get the food banks back in people's minds during the close season. So that'll be next week, probably next Thursday, to just put it in your diaries.
Absolutely. Excellent. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. I know there's so many comments in there, and we appreciate you coming and joining us and supporting us as well. But like I said, if you are interested in becoming a subscriber, just hit the the subscribe option as well and hit the thumbs up and leave a comment. Thanks for joining us. Stay safe. And as we always do, Russ, we like to thank our channel members, don't we?
We always do. So take care. Stay safe. Wash those hands. Stay lucky, stay cheeky, and stay positive. And for me and from Mr. Baker, ciao for now, my friends. Bye.
like a family tree. Part of you